Hi, Sonali. How are you?
Hi, Diane. I'm good. Thank you so much for thinking of me for this interview.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed to share your experiences with electromagnetic fields. So I've just got a few brief questions I'd like to ask you. So
Sure.
if I'm looking down and I'm not looking at you, I'm either taking notes or I'm looking at the questions.
Sure, no problem.
So Sonali, can I just ask, when you first became aware of or hear the term electromagnetic fields?
Well, actually, I heard the term electromagnetic fields like when I started noticing it is after I came into contact with you. But what I did know was that mobile phones kind of and the towers and everything, they emit radiations which affect us. That was pretty long back. It was when I was in India. And thankfully for some people who listened, one of the top actresses in our film industry, her brother passed away because he had brain tumor. And she was convinced that it was because of the radiation. So I don't know the history of it, but she really started propagating, informing people that you've got to put your phones on flight mode when you go to sleep. You have to protect yourself. So that was the first time that I knew. That was about 10 years back.
Wow, that's really interesting because
Yeah.
I've actually seen, I feel that it is this actress from India. She's like a Bollywood actress.
Yeah,
Yep.
Chewy Chawla.
Yeah. And I've just seen her quite recently, promoting awareness of EMF. So that was
Yeah.
10 years ago that you were aware
Yeah.
of it. I wasn't even really aware of it back then.
All right. I
So
did, but I only knew that much.
yeah. And what a great start too, to have that awareness of, oh, I've got to be careful of my mobile phone and, and be aware of mobile phone towers and things like that. So do you feel that EMF has impacted your family at all? Any members of your family?
Well, look, when I said that I knew about it 10 years back, I only knew that I had to put my mobile phone on flight mode when I go to sleep. Right?
Oh.
That's about all that I knew about it. And yeah, well, I knew the radiation and whatever is going to be there, but I didn't know if I was, being affected or if I can do anything about it. But once I started talking to you, I realized that there's so many things that have happened that can easily be attributed to radiation because there is no other reason for it. So, yeah.
You did have a bit of a thing there with your mother that you were telling me about.
Yeah. So with my mom, but you've got to understand she's very weak. She's very thin. She hardly eats anything. So she doesn't eat junk food. She doesn't eat anything from outside. And she only takes one meal a day. Right? Nobody in our house smokes or drinks. So to say that she was affected by something that was in her food or something that, she smoked or anything is just, because I know her, it's unbelievable. And she got lung cancer. So, yeah, go ahead. You were saying something.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And I did think that you were thinking that it could have been because of the microwave.
Yeah, after I spoke with you, I realized that they've got, you mentioned that microwaves emit radiation. We knew about microwaves doing harm inside the food, but not outside, right? We didn't think about that. But she's got her microwave on chest level.
Mm.
And because we didn't think about what's going to do to you outside, she stands there while she heats up all the food, and then she takes it out, and then she heats up something else or whatever. So she's standing right there. Also, when she has her mobile, we know that don't hold it to your ear, but she keeps it on her chest.
Oh, okay, that's
so
yeah. And just for the people that are listening, with the microwave oven, I will just mention that I have measured microwaves from the oven about 2 rooms away. So it really is important for people, if you have a microwave in your home, to just turn it on and step out of the room while heating your food. Thank you for sharing that. So you had an online assessment with me. You booked an online assessment with me, Sonali. What was that like for you?
Well, it was quite interesting because I think it was much into the time when I already knew you, and we'd already had a few conversations around EMF and everything. But I was moving house, and I really wanted to make sure that I could do a few things that could make it better. So the ideas that you gave me and your suggestions, I've tried to use most of them. And it was very interesting to know that we don't think about these things. I didn't think about it.
So what was it that you would say that you have done differently or thinking differently about since the online assessment?
Well, my son has his the socket for charging his phone. It's right on his head. So I've sealed that off now. So you can't charge it over here, charge it outside the house, charge it somewhere else. I had a Google Mini and Alexa, which is Amazon's thing, in my room, which I removed. From here, I've moved it to the drawing room. And I switch all the sockets that are not working, all appliances that are not in use. I try and switch everything off. Because, I mean, I don't think it took me very long because I did want to make the change.
I know you're very passionate about protecting your family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so grateful that I met you, because all of these things that you told me, I had no idea. And I wouldn't even go and research it, honestly speaking. You know, because if there's something like,
it's like that rabbit warren. Once you get stuck in, once you start researching, and it's a lot of confusing information as well.
Yeah, there's so much out there, and then you get scared, and sometimes you also feel like, well, I don't know how much is true.
That's true. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but when you get information in small bits and pieces and you see that there is a difference that is there, you realize that it's all true, and it's just, just have to open your mind and fix it.
That's right. And like you say, once the guesswork's been taken out of everything, it's quite easy just to go around and fix it. So, so with the adjustments that you needed to make, or that you did make, Sonali, was it hard for you, or did it cost you a lot of money to do these adjustments that I suggested?
Actually, most of them didn't cost me anything. Most of it was just consciously making a decision and switching things off and just placing them better. So I don't think that, no, I didn't spend any money. I only spent money on the cable that you asked me, which I haven't put up as yet, but I will.
Yeah, excellent. That's going to make a massive difference. Yeah, a massive difference. So I'm really looking forward.
Which was like about $5-6. I mean, I don't remember. Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to you doing that and seeing, how you're feeling after you've done that. I think you're going to notice feeling much better once we put this last solution in place. So, how do you feel about EMF and your son?
Well, honestly speaking, I feel like, well, I would like to stay safe myself. I'm of that age where now things are going to come up, and, it's inevitable because you're aging. But I would definitely like to not add EMF to it. But having said that, I'm more worried about my son because he's just started his life. And if we don't educate them, they will spend most of their life again wondering or even ignoring all the problems, because till you're about 30, your body just heals whatever it can, and you've got the energy and you don't have to think about things, and you just go and do stuff, right? But after that, even if they think about it, it doesn't help. Whatever damage had to happen has happened. So I'm very passionate about keeping him in the loop about what is important, what he should do, what he shouldn't do. He doesn't listen right now, but hopefully at least I am putting it in his head that this is something to think about rather than ignoring it.
I agree. And I think it's that reinforcing, just keep mentioning it. And then, one day, I mean, he's only young, and one day the penny might drop and think, oh, there might be something in this. And I know myself with my daughter. My daughter used to sleep with her mobile phone under her pillow. But now, because she's, heard from me for a while, and I've been able to share research and stuff with her, she doesn't have it under her pillow anymore. So, it did take a little while, but thank goodness she doesn't sleep with that mobile phone under her pillow anymore.
Right.
So, Sonali, would you recommend an online assessment for people, and if so, why?
I would definitely recommend everyone to get an assessment, and it might not be exactly why you think it would be. I think when you get an assessment done, you find out a few things that you've not thought about. But more than that, I feel like everybody in your family suddenly realizes that it's something real. We can talk about it as much as we want, but family doesn't listen mostly.
Yeah.
If you want to. So if you get an assessment, then it's like, well, okay, she did something. She was talking to a professional and something was said, and well, maybe it's okay to make those changes.
Yeah.
It's that small little shift that happens that is so important.
I totally agree. And I think that the benefit too is just that, like we've just discussed, it can be the simplest little things that can make a world of difference to the health of the family, just by doing one simple little solution.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Sonali, thank you so much for sharing this little bit of time with me today and speaking about your experience. Now, I know
you're most welcome.
You happen to have your own business.
Yes.
Yes. And I know, because I do a fair bit of work with you, which I'm so grateful for. Would you mind just sharing what it is that you do, and also your Facebook page? So if anyone is after your services and would like to have a chat with you, they can get in touch.
Sure, awesome. But can I share one more story before we do that?
Sorry, I should have asked.
Yeah. So I think I was talking to you some time back about this, or maybe a couple of days back, that in my other house, I was constantly jumbling up my words, and it had been happening for more than 4 or 5 years. Even in India, it was happening, because what I would say, I wanted to say, go and get the water, and I'd say, go and get the apple. Now in my mind, I'm looking at water, but I just can't, I can't verbalize it for some reason. But since I've moved into this house, it's not happened. And the only difference is that this is on the ground floor, on the first floor, with trees all around. There's hardly any reception for internet. And that could be the reason, because I've not even once fumbled over here.
That's really interesting. I remember you telling me that. And because I remember when looking at your place before, and because I got your address at the last place, and you did have quite a few mobile phone towers in your vicinity.
Around, yeah.
And I understand what you're saying about knowing you wanted to say water, but apple come out. And I understand that. And there's a name for that, and it's anomia, and it's a classic symptom of exposure to EMF. And it was like myself, when I was exposed to EMF, I would know the words I would want to say. So just for something simple, say I wanted to say, oh, the dog, I would see the words the dog, like in a bubble. I could see the words. I'd know quite clearly what I wanted to say, but I couldn't get them to connect, the words to connect to my brain to come out of my mouth. So there was just like a connection lost. Once I cleared up my exposure to EMF, that disappeared, as well as all my other symptoms. So it's really interesting that you picked that up.
Yeah, well, it was really odd, and because it wasn't happening anymore, I didn't think about it.
No, that's funny. That's really funny how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you mentioned, I was like, oh yeah, I've not done that in a while. Which is amazing. And who could have said it was EMF?
Well, maybe it wasn't, but it sounds like it could have been. There was something in your environment.
What I mean to say is, you wouldn't consciously think about radiation as an issue that brought this up.
No, you wouldn't.
Because we talk about sugar, We talk about the things that are not good for your health, but we never add radiation to it.
No, we don't. Which is
like a different chapter altogether. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to give it the power to do anything else in life. Yeah, but that's the thought process. So,
and there is a lot of unawareness out there too regarding EMF.
Yeah.
But now, before we share your business details, Sonali, was there anything else that comes to mind before we end up today that you would like to share? Well,
actually, this might not be directly my experience, but I remember talking to you and you mentioned that one of the schools might be getting evaluation done on radiation, right, in the classrooms. And I think that would be so awesome, because with my son, one of the things that worries me is that even if I've put his phone on 3G and I don't allow him to keep it near him and I don't allow him to do stuff, there are 30 other kids in the class who have the mobiles and they are on 5G and I can't do anything about it. And they're constantly on their laptops, even homework that they have to do is on the laptops, mobile is there. I mean, it's scary. And if the schools can do anything to reduce it a little bit even, I mean, that would help.
I agree. And it would be so simple. It would be so simple for schools to reduce the amount of exposure the kids are exposed to in the schools.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, not a lot of them are too interested in that.
Yeah.
It's I've been to a few schools and we're covered. We've got our tech guys and IHS and they look after all that. But you know what? It's coming, Sonali. It's coming. So there's a lot of people working on making our schools a safe place for our kids where our EMF are concerned. So, at this point, all we can do at this stage is look after them when they walk in our door.
Yeah.
We can't protect
absolutely
when they walk out the door, but we sure can when they walk in our door. And they come home to rest and repair and rejuvenate.
Absolutely.
We just make our home the
I
best
agree.
we can.
Do whatever we can, I mean, as long as the dialogue is open and people are thinking about it, someday it will be done, and that's a good thing. But in the meantime, whatever I can do to protect me and my family, I'm definitely going to do that.
Yeah, good on you. And you are doing it. You're doing a great job. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Now, a little bit about you. What is it that you do?
Right. So I do marketing and I also do graphic design. So my business right now is about helping other women who are in business do their marketing without getting frustrated or, getting all overwhelmed and scared about it. Because marketing is something that, one, we think we can do ourselves. Two, we feel that, it's a stage. You think you can do it yourself and you start, but nothing happens. And then you feel like, well, it's not that important. I'll figure it out later sometime. And then it just becomes, again, the word eludes me, disappointed. Yeah. Disappointed that we've not been able to do what we said we were going to do for our marketing. But what I would like to say is that it's not complicated. It can be really simple, and it can be done in about an hour a week. You don't have to sit every day for hours and do it. It's just not required. So, yeah.
I must say, since working with you, you've certainly taken the guesswork out. Everything's up here and I don't know what to do with it. And you help to pull that out, and you help to pull that into stuff that makes sense that I can share with people. And you have a great way of, I would say, drawing that out of people and making people more visible on social media, especially with your awesome graphics. And
thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. And if people are interested in your services, what is the name of your business?
It's Sonali P Designs on Facebook. So the name is Sonali P, but you can't have your name and the business name same on Facebook. So it's Sonali P Designs.
Sonali, SONALIP Designs.
Yeah. P for peacock.
Yes. Excellent. Well, thanks so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with EMF. And I look forward to talking with you again soon, Sonali.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.